and welcome to another edition of the Shadowland Radio Show, the Shadowland Podcast. I am your host, Dr. William Lester. Thank you for joining me for another installment of this program. I want to invite you to pay a visit to the American Institute of Metaphysics at instituteofmetaphysics.com and the Institute Facebook page. And if you just get up on Facebook and type in Institute of Metaphysics, it should lead you right to it. We've got a lot of interesting things going on the Facebook page, a lot of very cool and interesting posts, articles, images, commentary, what have you. So today I want to talk with you about a subject that I find interesting, and it is a term you may have heard, maybe not, but I want to talk with you about the Skinwalker. Now, what is a Skinwalker? And like I said, some of us may have heard of it. So some of you may have heard this term. Let me start off by saying that the Skinwalker is deeply, deeply embedded in Native American culture, particularly the Navajo culture. But you can find a variation on this in many of the Native American, many of the indigenous traditions. Now, there is some correlation between the Skinwalker and the more Western or European concept of a werewolf, a lycanthrope, a shapeshifter. The Skinwalker is usually considered to be a witch. And of course, you know, in a lot of other cultures, witches are most often portrayed as female. But with respect to the Skinwalker, it's almost always a man. And this sorcerer, this witch, has the power to shapeshift and move about in this shifted animal form. And again, it's maybe most analogous to the werewolf manifestation. After all, the witch wants to assume an animal form that is formidable and foreboding and intimidating, fast, agile, and aggressive. So a wolf is the obvious candidate. There's lots of old stories of people reporting the Skinwalker looking at them through their window, which is like a very frightening image. You know, it's late at night and you see this horrid monster face looking at you through the window. Some people believe that the Skinwalkers can control your mind, and they can manipulate you to do something that maybe you don't want to do, like injure yourself. There are claims that these creatures have been seen on highways, chasing cars, leaping over the roof of a car. And like I said earlier, you know, this Skinwalker tradition is commonly associated with Navajo people But the Norse have a similar tradition of a sorcerer traveling in the form of an animal through the conjuring of a animal spirit beast creature type thing. So this is a very interesting thing, especially when you think about it juxtaposed to the traditional werewolf theme. And this may be a werewolf manifestation with the Native American Navajo kind of cultural window dressing on it. So let's look at what we think the Skinwalker powers and abilities are. And again, these are concepts that I've just kind of culled from looking at a broad range of the literature. As we say, the Native Americans believe them to be, for the most part, male. They are very strong, very fast, and very agile, displaying at times superhuman strength. It is believed that in the beast form that the Skinwalker will possess 8 to 10 times normal physical strength. They are inherently evil. And now I know that one kind of goes against the kind of contemporary pop culture motif. But nevertheless, this is what is most readily apparent in all of the legends and stories and beliefs and observations. Here's an interesting one. If you've seen a Skinwalker, you probably know them in human form. And of course, that has all kinds of creepy, scary, uncomfortable implications. One concept is that the supernatural ability to shapeshift is in part gained by murdering a close relative. And this may lead us over into the concept of conjuring demons and striking deals and contracts with demons who require you to do something that is as unspeakable as the aforementioned act of murder. They tend to travel at night and will desecrate, if they can, anything that is considered sacred or holy. Again, lending credence to the concept of inherent evil. They possess a superior sense of smell and hearing, even when in human form. The idea being that even in human form, the beast spirit is still taking up residence in the individual. There's one idea that they can actually absorb your energy by staring into your eyes. Maybe some form of hypnosis, but that's one idea. Their eyes glow in the dark like an animal. Now, one can probably debate whether that is from eye shine, from headlights or flashlights or whatever, or is there some kind of preternatural glow, some kind of bioluminescence. There are some who believe that even in human form, the Skinwalker can make the animal noises. or they can emulate the sound of another person. And of course, that would be an effective tool in misleading or tricking a person, fooling someone. So there are many powers attributed to this creature. Unfortunately, the list of weaknesses is almost jokingly short. In Navajo tradition, the only way to kill a skinwalker is with a bullet dipped in white ash. Now, I assume that this means the burnt embers of white ash. Otherwise, I don't think you can. There's no way you can, dip a bullet into a piece of solid wood. So I assume it's the burnt embers or the ashes of the white ash. That sounds weird. Some believe that you can kill the skinwalker simply by saying their true name, which would, of course, be a far quicker, more convenient tactic. So lots of powers, very few ways to kill it. So there you go, the Skinwalker. Akin to the werewolf tradition, prominent in Native American culture, particularly the Navajos. Something very interesting to think about. So we're going to conclude this installment of the Shadowland Podcast with that. Again, I invite you to visit the Institute of Metaphysics website at instituteofmetaphysics.com and visit us on Facebook simply by going to Facebook and typing in Institute of Metaphysics. I am Dr. William Lester, and I will see you again on the flip side.